let's dive into the topic today. So this is going to be the 3 bottlenecks killing your growth. A lot of the time we find that coaches are stuck at their revenue level because with different revenue levels, there comes different problems. I'm just seeing the different revenue levels where you guys are currently at, where you want to be, and all of the growth that you need to have in the meantime. Every revenue ceiling comes from one of these 3 places. So this is essentially all 3 things that we're going to be going into a little bit more deeply today. So first and foremost is the time bottleneck. Well, a lot of coaches say, I just don't have enough time. I have to do all these things. I have to create this lead magnet. I got to reach out to these people and follow up with them. I have to book these calls. And it's a time bottleneck. The next bottleneck that a lot of coaches face is leads, which I hear a majority of the time. I feel like everyone pinpoints it back to leads, even though sometimes it can be time or fulfillment, and it's just masked as leads because we think more leads would solve all of our problems. Not the case. But your pipeline is dry. Revenue is unpredictable, but demand is inconsistent. We'll dive into kind of what leads can look like as well, so you guys know for a fact if it's a lead problem or if you have one of these other 2. Last one, but not least, is fulfillment. And this is hitting in on churn. Now you can kind of see the leads and the churn perspective. They kind of go hand in hand, and that's why a lot of coaches think that they have a lead problem, but they actually have a churn problem. Because if you guys can keep your clients longer, you guys will have to have less leads to grow your business. But fulfillment, clients churn fast, delivery is messy, manual, and burning you out. All right, bottleneck number 1. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the time bottleneck. So here are a few signs that you are trapped inside of the time bottleneck. A lot of the time when we have a time bottleneck, we're being overworked and we're acting very reactively rather than being proactive. When you are in the CEO seat of your business, you probably are wearing a bunch of other hats, especially if it's a new business, but we need to be in a proactive rather than a reactive state of mind. The way that we do this is by setting up automations to handle a lot of your manual tasks. So even if you guys are in AR, I want you to think of other manual tasks as you go about your day-to-day that we can automate, and just ask if we can automate it. Because I guarantee you there's a lot of things that you guys are still doing manually that could be automated. And you just have to ask the question and we can make that happen for you. Whether it might be innately inside of AR or it might be through a Zap connection. There's something that we can do to at least take off a little bit more out of your plate. So just bring it up to us and then we can help you put out that fire. The little note underneath here is that you're feeling that you spend every day putting out fires instead of building systems that run without you. As an entrepreneur, our goal is to have like the time freedom. I guarantee you when you guys did build your business, you're probably just thinking like, hey, I just want time freedom or a location freedom. If you guys were going from an in-person job to now online, you could be anywhere in the world and still run your business. And that's great. But maybe your time is your next bottleneck. You have inconsistent content. Marketing guys, at the moment, you get busy with clients because you are the marketing department, especially as you guys are solopreneurs and you guys haven't built I don't want to say like a true business. A business is something that isn't reliant on one individual person. However, you can have a business and be that one individual person. It's kind of like a very broad term. But with that being said, if you guys see that you fall off on your content because you are working so hard with clients, because maybe in January you had a big influx of clients and you're working so hard there. If February you take time off of content because you're trying to onboard these clients, answer all of their questions, and then you realize March sales are down and then you have nothing to do, it's probably because you have time bottleneck. Because you sold all these people, you now have to fulfill all of those people, and you're not focusing on the content. And then you have 0 systems in place. You have no SOPs, no delegation. You can't delegate to anybody because you're a solopreneur. You have no automation, and everything seems to live in your head and in your calendar. To break this time bottleneck, you need to stop trading your hours for dollars. We're not working a job. Let's figure out how to pull bigger levers in the business, especially going from an in-person job and like just being told what to do. Now you're an entrepreneur. Now you have to tell others what to do to help your time. Think of all of the different ways that you could free up your time. Maybe that is through automation, or it could be through a VA. I recognize that me spending time in my email inbox is a waste of time. You go and tell me which emails I need to respond back to. I don't need to keep just deleting spam emails. I want you guys to start thinking this way. This is an entrepreneur in the way that you're thinking. The fix isn't working harder. It's building an infrastructure that removes you from the equation. So that's just one way you can start delegating things. So hand off anything that doesn't require your unique expertise. Building SOPs for everything. You guys need to do it for yourselves, is building SOPs for quite literally everything in your business, because while you're doing it right now, and it might not seem dire to create an SOP as you're building stuff out, when you guys are doing it right now, instead of you doing it 1,000 times more, and then if you hire someone and you have to teach them how to do it and do it another 1,000 times, that's a waste of your time, right? But if you guys start building out SOPs now as you guys are going through your Instagram DMs and just simply screen recording yourselves as you're messaging leads, or when you're doing outreach, or when you are creating X, Y, and Z for a client, build an SOP around that and just have it saved in your Google Drive or quite literally anywhere. You could even save it as a course inside of AR. Doesn't really matter. That allows you to then hire someone and immediately tell them to go and watch those videos so that you don't have to teach them anything. And then you could start testing with them. Obviously, you're not going to be able to just like download this information into that person. You're going to have to like work with them through it. It might be something as easy as downloading in the near future because of AI, but start building out the SOPs even if you don't think you need them right now. Number 3, automate and batch. You guys have JHL workflows, so let's use them. And batch create content into a weekly sprint. So you guys can batch create. I know we used to talk about that all the time in our content calls, is to batch create content and then just schedule it out. Doesn't affect your reach if you schedule it out innately in the app. So you guys can do that. And then key low value tasks. So again, audit your week. One thing that Alex Ramosi does here is that for like 3 days straight, he'll audit every 15 minutes. So he has a timer on his phone that goes off every single 15 minutes of every single day when it comes to these 3 days. And as that alarm goes off, he takes an audit of what he did for the last 15 minutes. When he does that, he's able to really hone in on what tasks he's doing that should not be his tasks, simply enough, so that he can go and delegate those. Although Alex Ramosi is very far in business, we can take some of the actions at which he is doing and implement it into our own business if it makes sense, such as this, so that we can become more like him. All right, bottle number 2, the lead bottleneck. This is actual signs that your pipeline is starving and that you guys need to focus on leads. The next bottleneck might highlight some new things where you guys might realize that you need to focus on churn instead of leads, but we'll go into leads first because this is typically everyone's biggest bottleneck, or at least this is what they say. So empty calendar. You check your pipeline daily. Pipeline, CRM, AR, whatever you want to call it. Daily, hoping for new applications. And it's absolute crickets. You have 0 calls on your calendar. You have a feast or famine revenue. So you have 1 good month, 1 bad month. No consistency because inbound is unpredictable. You might have a good month, bad month, and it doesn't seem to stay consistent. And then a single lead traffic source. All of your leads come from one platform. If the algorithm shifts, your business stalls. You guys don't essentially own your own leads when it comes to leads like followers on your Instagram account. If Instagram or social media in general shuts down overnight, you guys lose all of the people at which you've been talking to because you don't have their name, phone number, and email. So I want you guys to really make sure that you guys are collecting people's information as quickly as you can, because you never know when Instagram will shut down. It could happen. It's happened before where it's shut down for a day. Maybe at one point it might be indefinite. So making sure that you guys are getting that lead information so you guys quote unquote own those leads, meaning that you guys can just reach out to them at quite literally any point. All right, going into how to break this lead bottleneck. Leads are never luck. They're a system. So if we have a break in the system and you're not generating leads, we need to figure out a way to build a machine that generates demand, whether you're posting or not. I would switch the verbiage a little bit. You should be posting no matter what, but you should be able to create some sort of well-oiled machine at one point or another where it can generate leads, again, whether you're posting or not. That's going to be more so towards like the YouTube side of things. Instagram sometimes will like push older videos, but not as often as I feel like YouTube does. The algorithm is just a little bit different. So content is first and foremost when it comes to leads. Are you posting enough? If you're not generating enough leads and you're posting once per week, let's post more. Simple as that. And I know that posting sucks. I know a lot of people don't like posting. I personally hate posting. I hate social media in general, but we got to do it. If we want a business, it's one of those sucky things, a part of business that like, if you don't like it, you got to suck it up and do it. And that's just tenacity. Is that the correct word? But just being able to like push through the hard stuff. Next thing is lead magnets. Building a free resource that captures emails and qualifies prospects automatically. Lead magnets are always one of those fun topics because some people have like 507 million lead magnets for God knows what reason. And some people have one and then they're like, it's just not working. And they've been running it for like 3 years. So it's like one on one side of the spectrum and one on the other side of the spectrum. I think lead magnets, when it comes to lead magnets, 2 to 3 is plenty that you can cycle between. I wouldn't have all of them out all at once because then it confuses people. Like, you need to have like one trademark. Like, how do we brand you to make you stand out amongst all of the other coaches? Granted, we have 300 and something coaches on AR. How do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? And that is what your lead magnet should be around, because it should be the thing that tells people your unique mechanism. Kind of like if you guys listen to Will Drone, he has the SIN method and like SIN offer. And it's like your unique mechanism and how it plays into your course and the whole 9 yards. And it's like your lead magnet should be teaching them everything that they need to know, but also causing them to ask more questions at the end. So for example, going kind of back into like Will's like SIN offer, he has a unique mechanism. Let's say it's the metabolic method. You guys have probably heard that before. But let's say that I'm talking about the metabolic method, and Kim, maybe it's some like hunting mechanism, or you use a keyword that only hunters or people who hike will really know. And you could have a methodology around this, like an acronym of some sort. But being able to really target your ideal client and have 2 to 3 that you rotate between. And so each season, it might be something different. Maybe it's 4 and you do one for each quarter of the year and you rotate out those lead magnets. Sometimes lead magnets will take off. Sometimes they're dead. If they're dead, then just switch them around. Obviously, it's not speaking to your ideal client enough, or you don't have enough eyeballs on that lead magnet because it's not leaning in enough. It doesn't drive any curiosity at all. So if you're finding people are not downloading your lead magnet, maybe they're interacting, but they're not downloading it, how do we make that lead magnet sound so sexy where they're like, I'll give you my name, number, and email, and I might even pay $20 for it, but I'm just giving it out to you for free. But lead magnets are super important because that's how we're going to get those full leads in. And then follow-up system. So making sure that we're nurturing our leads as well. We have the 365-day nurture sequence for a reason. If you guys have not gone in and edited those emails, I highly recommend doing so. If you have the newer-ish version of the account, they should all have them. But it should be underneath your lead automations, or it could be underneath your Fit Pro workflows if you have that folder. There's a few different folders that it could be in, but just look up for the 365 nurture sequence and you'll find it. 52 emails that get sent out once per week. Highly recommend nurturing your leads. Throw in some text messages, throw in those emails, making sure that they actually target your ideal client. Throw in maybe your lead magnets as well to get them to re-engage with something and see if they're actually clicking on that product or on that email and reading through it and are interested. So utilize all of these things kind of put together. And then lead bottleneck for reactivation. Dead leads. Anybody that has been sitting in your AR account for more than like 3 months and have not been talked to, go and reach out to those people. I guarantee you're going to get some responses back. Sometimes we reach out to someone once during one season of their life and they're just not ready. So every quarter, reach out to those dead leads or the people who haven't interacted with you in quite a while. How's everything going since last time we spoke? How's it going for you? Still not working. Sounds like you need a coach. Get those people reactivated, guys. Highly recommend. And you could easily filter through this too. If you guys need to figure out a way to filter through the leads inside of AR, let me know. I can send you over a video. I guarantee you we have one inside of the course somewhere. But to be able to just filter out phone and email, I think it's underneath AR Basics course actually. So if you go under there, there is a way to create smart lists and filter people out. So just filter out based off of phone and email, and then you should have all of the leads there. All right, let's go into last but not least, the third bottleneck. And this one's actually my favorite bottleneck because this is something that I've been working so diligently inside of AR to be able to do, is the fulfillment bottleneck. And it's your delivery. And there's a few signs that show that your delivery is broken. So of course, burnout. You dread Mondays because maybe all of your check-in days are on Mondays. And every client feels like a weight because delivery is 100% manual. Check-ins Pro should be launched soon, but like to the public. But with Check-ins Pro does help that back end. High churn rate. So this is my personal favorite. This is the specific bottleneck that we were facing for a while, is that clients leave after a certain amount of time. And they're not getting results because the experience is inconsistent. And the messy onboarding. So there's no welcome sequence, no clear expectations, no structure first week experience. So clients feel lost from day one. Hopefully you guys do not have that issue because you are a part of AR, but it could be something that people still face because maybe you don't really understand your onboarding experience. So breaking the fulfillment bottleneck that we have in our coaching businesses. So scalable delivery isn't about doing less for clients. It's about systemizing excellence so every client gets a world-class experience. If you guys are looking to scale, which you guys are all on this call, so I guarantee you're trying to scale. Think about if you're running a business that has 300, 500 clients, you guys are going to be running like a chicken with its head cut off, so to speak. Think about ways that you can automate or systematize your onboarding so that if you were to sign up 300 clients or get up to that 300 client mark tomorrow, that it would make your life so much easier. If you start putting yourselves into these crazy scenarios of whether it's swinging all the way this way or swinging all the way that way, you guys will be able to see different outcomes and then be able to prepare for something like that happening. Granted, having 300 people apply and sign up, that's even very rare for people who just randomly hit their niche and go viral and do the whole nine. They might get 50 to 60, but it could happen to you. So let's prep for the storm, so to say. So standardize the onboarding. We have the automated welcome sequence that sets expectations and delivers value from hour one. I want you guys to even think deeper into this. Like what are some common questions that I've been getting from clients within the first 2 weeks of them onboarding? If you guys get a lot of questions, then maybe we make an onboarding course that everyone follows through or goes through on their first week. And we send them out each respective video on their first week so they know exactly what to expect going into the next 6 months. That can help significantly. That's something that we lacked at AR way back. We just didn't have like a really good standardized onboarding process. We've gone through it like 4 or 5 different times, and we've made it into what it is today, which is a lot better than where it was, but still has so much more room for growth. So you guys will have to rework these things a few different times to really figure out the best cadence for you and your clients. Automate touch points. This is something that I used to talk about quite a bit because I used to do this with my coaching business. Was I built out a workflow for all of my clients where around that 2-week mark, 4-week mark, 6, 8, and it kind of went like every other week or every week. I varied the cadence, but it would just randomly send out a text message to them just saying like, hey, how's everything going? And that allowed me to not have to worry about those people that just ghost, especially doing everything that I do at AR. So I don't have to worry about like, I really need to reach out to her and then forget to reach out to her because I'm the worst texter in the world. So I automated my text messages. And you guys can do the exact same. It would just be essentially an add to workflow inside of the welcome sequence and then wait steps with text messages in between. It'd be as easy as that, and that could really help with just client retention for the long run. Maybe it starts 3 months in, who knows? Map the client journey, making sure that you guys have a fully built out client journey. If you guys are just starting, don't necessarily worry about this because you might not even have a client through for those who are just starting their coaching businesses. But if you guys do already have an established business, just like all of you guys on this call, making sure that you know what the first 2 months, first 3 months, maybe even the first 6 months of what coaching with you looks like for the client, and making sure that you have touch points in between. If you guys haven't read Alex Hormozi's, I don't know if it was the money models or offers, there's a portion in one of his books where he talks about churn and like making sure that you guys have specific touch points. Maybe it was even in a video of his, but making sure that you constantly are reaching out to these clients, making sure that they're okay. Same thing as you delivered on day 1 as service, you want it on day 30. Or day 90, day 60, day 120, doesn't matter. However long that client stays with you, you want that same experience throughout the entire process. And then community support. I feel like communities were really, really big about 3 years ago. Then they died off. And now they're starting to grow again because AI is coming into play. So everyone wants community. But we feel like this disconnect because we have all of this fake stuff online now. So how do we get people to actually connect with other people? Through a community. Maybe that's something that you want to build out. Community helps a lot when it comes to churn because people might want to leave the program because they don't necessarily feel like they need all of the hands-on stuff anymore, but they might not want to leave the community, so they stay on for an extra 3 months. You never know. Revenue is flat. Which bottleneck is it? So now it's time for you guys to use the decision framework and be honest with yourselves. The answer you resist is probably the right one. Again, a lot of the time people are like, I have a lead problem, but they're signing up 1 person or 2 people per month and they're losing 4. So maybe we want to fix the churn on the back end before we even focus on leads. Because if we consistently grow via 2 each month, it might go up to 3 at one point, but 2 each month for 12 months, that's 24 people inside of your coaching business. And if you didn't lose anybody, you'd be up 24 times 300 or however much you charge. That's pretty awesome. Think about that as well. So is it a fulfillment or a time problem? Are you closing and retaining? Do you have a leads bottleneck? So you need to increase your prospecting? Or do you have enough leads to begin with? So assessing the lead volume. Most coaches try to solve the wrong bottleneck, but they buy more ads when the real problem is the fulfillment problem, and they hire when the real problem is leads. So name it correctly before you throw money at it. Do not recommend starting ads if you don't even know your processes. Now, these are some actionable things that you guys can take from this call, because I want you guys to actually do something with being here and spending your hour with me. So I want you to pick one bottleneck, and I want you to make 3 changes this week, not the next month, not after you figure things out, not until Monday when I feel ready, just like all of your clients say, or next month or the start of the year. You know the drill. No excuses. So is it a time bottleneck? I want you guys to hire a VA or look into hiring a VA, set up an AI automation to do what a VA would do. That works too. I know they're all very cheap tasks. Document your 3 top tasks as SOPs and automate 1 GHL workflow to help you out with that. So those are 3 actionable things that you can take with time. If you have a lead problem, I want you guys to launch a lead magnet. A lead magnet actually sticks to your leads. Granted, it might not work the first time, and that's okay. Maybe you need to just rename the lead magnet. If you already have one and it's like kind of getting traction, maybe just call it something different and see if the change of the title to more of like a hooky title would work better. You can do that too. Build out a 5 email nurture sequence with that lead magnet, or build out a nurture sequence in general, and then reactivate 50 dead leads. Guarantee you, if you've been in business for over a year, probably have around 50 dead leads. Go and reach out to those people. And you can bulk SMS and email. Go watch the video inside of the AR Basics course to be able to do that. And then the very last one is fulfillment. If you guys are having a fulfillment problem, I want you guys to create a 7-day onboarding flow. You guys can just build it inside of the Welcome to the Team flow, or if you need help with that, feel free to hop on office hours. Map your 90-day client journey. Really get super clear on what that looks like when you're touching points with these people, when you're having calls with these people, so on and so forth. And then launch a community group, which is another thing that you guys can do. Super simple. You could even do it on Instagram. A lot of people doom scroll. You can build out a little Instagram community that's private to you and your clients so that you can send out funny things or funny memes that you see inside of Instagram and that you want to share with your clients, or little tips or information pieces. You could do something as simple as that. You don't need to have a whole built out AR community like what we have for you guys. You do start off with something simple and then transition into like a full on app later down the line. The bottleneck that you ignore becomes a ceiling that you will not be able to break. So if you guys fix it now, you'll be able to scale forever. I just want to say thank you so very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you are a coach or consultant looking to streamline your systems and scale your business with Go High Level, we're here to help. Funnels specializes in custom funnel systems built specifically for online coaches and consultants, working currently with over 350 clients. If you're interested, click the link in the description so you can learn more about how we can help you scale your business and save you time with AR. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.